la Daily Hustle. Soy Enrique Byrnes y presidente de Mejor Cerveza. No Abate por No Filter Network. Miguelito San Dieguito, not with us today. Will the Thrill Clark, not with us today either. But, as you guys know, we come on here each and every single morning, with or without our dudes. And we properly not only salute them, but each and every one of you. Yes, 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 yes. Woo! Remember this, folks, when we are juiceful, we are useful. And when we are juiceless, we are fucking useless. A very pleasant good morning to you. Gene, good morning. John Davis, come on, man. I got to figure you're out there. Joe in AZ, where are my peeps? Anyhow, there he is. I love it. All right, so here's the deal. I'm in Half Moon Bay, California. I was in Daytona Beach up until last night. We're rolling this off of the iPad. So if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, give it a second. You'll get used to the audio. It's not nearly as clean as it typically is, but I figured I'd come on here anyway. Every time I write a Daily Hustle, I've made a commitment now that I'm certainly going to do a show. Let's not forget our title sponsor, Bet Online, the #1 online gambling destination. Bet Online has all of the latest news, scores, odds, predictions, everything you guys could possibly ask for or dream of if you're a degenerate gambler, like so many are out there. Bet Online, 150 slot games, and type in the promo code BLEAV, capital BLEAV for 50% off your first deposit. And speaking of deposits, a lot was deposited in life to go into this. The F It List, life lessons from a human crash test dummy. You can pick that up at ericbyrnes.com, as well as Let Them Play, a parenting and coaching guide to youth sports. A quick little shout out and some love to Epic Pickleball. They've actually been a huge friend of the program. This is the coolest pickleball bag of all time. As you see, you have the paddle holder area here, and then so much going on inside. I actually have 2 more paddles. I have a charger. I have balls. And then you can take the bottom half of it. It's got like a little compartment. See right here? Where it's a cooler. So you can keep your nutrition and everything else in there. So Epic Pickleball. We're going to do a collab bag giveaway. Keep paying attention to that. Yes, Gene, it is fantastic. Right in front of me, just for fun, I have these bats. So these are all the classic Easton bats from back in the day. I'm going to guess. So I was probably 13 when I started using this. It's a 32 and a half, 27 and a half, so 13. This would be 1989. So when Will Clark was doing this and the NLCS and taking Greg Maddux deep inside fastball, this was the exact bat I would have been swinging at that point in my life. I then went to, and I don't even know what you call this one. I mean, is this a maroon Easton? So this is a drop 5. So I started swinging the 32 and a half, 27 and a half. And then the next step up was to go to the green Easton. 2 5/8 diameter on the barrel. This is a 33-29. So this is actually a drop 4. From the green Easton, of course, I go to what? The Black Magic. This thing was a 33-30. You know what I really liked about this bat, and very underrated, and I'm surprised none of the bats go back to it? The rubber grip. There was something special that just felt right about the rubber grip. Then I'm like, okay, well, I'm ready to go up an inch. So I go up to a 34, but I kept the ounces the same. And I remember there's a little bit of a taper here. And this is the EA70 high performance alloy. The max barrel now is 2 3/4. So this is the max size And then again, the little taper, which allowed me to come off of it, and I treated it like a 33 and a half, hit absolute nukes with that. And then back to what? The Black Magic. This was the new Black Magic. This is now a 34-31, as you can see. This does not have the taper. And I guess I like the thin handle. It's funny because now with my pickleball rackets, I like a thin handle too. My tape jobs were fucking immaculate though. I mean, look at this thing. So this was this. I used this all the way through probably my junior year. And then my senior year, I went to the 34-31 Max Barrel Model B9T. Again, EA70 high performance alloy with a little bit of a taper, but this is just perfect when it comes to the pine tar and whatever other contents that I was putting there. And I put this around here, and I think that was because of George Brett, right? Where you couldn't put pine tar too high in your bat. So I actually put a little tape mark where I could go up to with my pine tar. So this was the entire 13 till college with all these. And then in college at the time, if you guys remember, we went to the Drop 5 fucking launchers. I don't think it was my freshman year. So I had a good chance to actually use this one my freshman year at UCLA. Now, the funny thing is, everyone makes a big deal, and the stats certainly, took off. But think about this. My last year at UCLA, I hit 330 with, I think, 15 bombs in, let's call it 250 at-bats. My first year in the minor leagues, which was right after that, right? Finished UCLA, all of a sudden I'm going in, I'm playing short season A-ball. I'm in Medford, I'm in Visalia, and I hit 370 with 11 in the same amount of at-bats. I actually hit better with a wood bat than I did a Drop 5 rocket launcher. So it's not always the bat. A lot of times it's just the ability to put the barrel of the bat on the baseball. I remember seeing a thing with Adley Rutschman too a couple years ago where he was in a home run contest with the baseball bat bros, and he was swinging like the GOAT, the Green Easton, whatever. And when he dropped the Green Easton, it's like, fuck that. He goes, I'm going to go. I'm not sure if it was the Green Easton. It was the Green DeMarini. I got to check on this. We should get Biggity Biscuit on here to clarify. And he goes back to his wood bat, same type of thing. He actually hit better with the wood. I think once you get used to it, that is that. So, all right, let's get into the Daily Hustle email this morning that went out a short time ago. Worked on it on the plane last night on this 6-hour flight back from Orlando. Holy shit. It is a beautiful thing we can get across the country in such a short period of time. But that is, 6 hours, a long way coming back. Regardless, it was certainly fun and worth every single minute of it. Okay, buenos dias. Today is Monday, December 23rd, 2024. And on this day in 1888, Vincent van Gogh cut his left ear off with a razor after an argument with a fellow painter. Van Gogh then sent his ear to a prostitute for safekeeping. We can't make this shit up. You really can't. Then I want to know what happened to the ear, though, right? When I read this morning, I went to the prostitute, but what's she doing? Daily Hustle quote of the day: show me how you do anything, and I'll show you how you do everything. Daily Hustle translation: had the privilege to coach Michael Deeb with the Bananas, and the former Notre Dame linebacker and Chicago White Sox farmhand was one of the most fierce competitors and nicest dudes I've been around. And what obviously was a circus at times in Banana Land, winning mattered to the guy they called Vitamin D, and his preparation and intensity certainly matched his commitment. That all said, when I stopped by Savannah this summer and he hit the pickleball court with Deeb, I figured out the dude had some game and knew this was a guy I wanted to go to battle with. Well, that battle was this past weekend, and despite Deeb never played an attorney before. We boldly entered the 4.5 division in Daytona Beach and fought our asses off. In the first match, we had some amazing points, but strategically, we were a bit overmatched and went down in a blaze of glory. Now, facing elimination, we took our short break between matches to hit some balls with a buddy of ours who also happens to be a pro. And he gave us some very easily applicable pointers. We then made the necessary adjustments and kicked ass, winning 4 matches in a row, and found ourselves in the bronze medal match where we eventually dropped a heartbreaker, but finished 4th out of 17 teams. Personally, I had 0 expectations going into the tourney, but after coaching Vitamin D in Savannah, I did know 2 things. Number 1, we would both be coachable. Number 2, we would fucking compete. Whether it's baseball, pickleball, or life, I've experienced enough to know how we do anything really will be how we do everything. Let's just make sure we continue to charge life in such a way that no matter what it is we're doing, people want us on their team. Appreciate the Volair Pickleball for the paddle support and Epic Pickleball Life for the most badass pickleball bag ever made. Thank you, Epic. And No Filter Network for the amazing game streams. EBPS. Click pick below for some epic. I just decided to roll the word epic today, I guess. Pickle points and Blue Link for today's live interactive award-winning Deuces Wild Daily Hustle podcast. So yeah, I mean, just an amazing experience. And one of the things that I knew going into this was that we were going to find a way to compete. Now, did that mean we were going to be able to make it all the way to a bronze medal match? No, not at all. I thought there was actually a decent chance that it could have been 2 and Q. That all said, I could tell from the get he has the same passion that I have about learning and getting better. And I think that's the biggest thing, because it's impossible to learn what we think we already know. So that was one of the things going into it. I just wanted to hammer home to Deeb. I'm like, bro, look, man, let's stay focused and let's learn. Let's let every point tell us. And he was a lefty, I'm a righty, and so we had the middle, and it was just a matter of figuring out that middle and how aggressive to be, whether it was me being aggressive, whether it's him being aggressive, whether it was us playing off each other. But I think that was what we really learned. And the pros, actually, my guy Hector is a senior pro, and he took us out there and he just started hitting a bunch of balls. And he's like, look, this is yours. This is yours. This is how we're going to communicate. And that made all the difference in the world. All right. Top stories. Unfortunately, as you guys know, Rickey Henderson passed away. So I want to raise one up and pour a little out for a guy that was instrumental in my career. I think obviously served as a role model when I was a kid, and then later on as a mentor. I think this one hit hard, basically because of the fact we all saw Rickey, it feels like a few weeks ago, I guess it's a couple months ago now, throwing out the first pitch, or say the last pitch, in Oakland. And everything was fine, and just like, oh, cool. And then he's gone. So certainly heartbreaking. I think it's a nice little reality check that we're not here forever, to appreciate the moment, appreciate the day. And you look back and you want to celebrate his life, but I think there's also that kind of grief period that a lot of people went through, right? It was this one hurts type of thing. And whether you knew Rickey personally or you were just a fan of his growing up, he had an incredible influence on so many people's lives. And as a young kid growing up in the Bay Area, having a chance to watch him, and I remember, this is literally like one of my earliest memories in life, is I'm probably 6, 7 years old, and he's chasing the stolen base record. And it was like, did he get another one? Did he get another one? Did he get another one? And I don't even remember what the numbers were. I just know it was just this fucking ridiculous amount of stolen bases. And almost like when McGuire and Sosa went through the home run chase, that's what it was like. But, when you're 6 or 7, you're so excitable. And did Rickey steal? Did Rickey steal? And, he eventually, I think, ended up with 130 that one year. And the way he did it, the flair he did it with, I think in a lot of ways it transcended the game. It took a game that was very stoic and still was even when I got there, but he had a flair and a dramatic about it that I think really helped revolutionize the game to somewhat what it is now. Now, whether it's gone too far or it's over the top, baseball definitely needed more Rickey, more flair, more of the confidence. And I mean, who didn't mimic that stance, when they were a kid, and just his ability to get on base. The numbers obviously speak for themselves. The 3,000 hits, 2,000 walks. He's got damn near 500 stolen bases, more than Lou Brock, who's the next closest to him. I think he's got just 10 times the amount of any active player. He set records that won't ever be touched. Now, it was funny because Manfred said something. I saw a statement from him, and he's like, look, when they widened the bases, when they made the bases bigger and they decided that they're going to limit the pickoffs and everything else, their idea was the Rickey Henderson era. Their idea was to go ahead and try to bring back that style of baseball as opposed to the launch angle revolution and just trying to hit home runs. So I don't know if you can force that. I definitely know that there's been more stolen bases than there had been in the recent past, but there won't ever be another Rickey. It's just the stories of the third person and, Will's Ricky Gone story when Tony La Russa was over there wanting him to chill out. And he just finally got anxious enough. And just whether it's the check that goes up on the wall. There's a John Olerud one when Ricky was playing in Toronto about him apparently not knowing Olerud, or I'm just playing. You hear the stories and all the things, and you don't know what's fact, what's fiction. It's very Yogi Berra-esque. I will say that when I went to the A's spring training a few years ago, so let's rewind for a second, because when I was in Oakland, had the opportunity to meet Ricky a handful of times, like, what's up, this and that. And there was one spring I remember he was in camp and asking him about, ripping bags and his style. The one thing he did, I found it really interesting, is that he'd be like here, and he'd go, boom, and he'd fully turn first and then steal. Where I would be here, and I would just take this left foot, pull it over, and all of a sudden I was running. I felt like this move didn't suit me well. Maybe because I wasn't quick enough, but I felt like if I could get my legs going and get that stride going as quickly as possible, that was going to be my fastest way to go from first base to second base to third base, whatever. And I asked Ricky about that. And he was just really set on saying this was his prime position to go. And so he's here, and he goes here, and now he's ready to run. He has this crazy low center of gravity. Now, Rickey was a fucking incredible running back. I believe had a scholarship to USC, and he's built different. I mean, he really was. So I think we all have our ways to do things, but to have these conversations with him, and even the reads off the pictures where he was talking about at second, try to steal third, try to give you guys a little angle here. But if you're a pitcher here and you're here, he said the first thing he'd look for is the elbow. And so if he saw the elbow here, boom, come down, where he's coming back this way, this is going to move here to turn around, spin move, pick off. I guess the other thing is this is coming back here as well. So where if he's going home, this is, I believe, he's going to go up. And that's what he was talking about. So there's all these little things that come into play when you talk about being the greatest base stealer of all time. And you do it that much better than everybody. He wasn't that much faster than everybody. He just was that much better than everybody. Joe, no, I do not know what his 40-yard dash time was. It'd be interesting because I bet you his 40 was ridiculous. That was funny because my best distance running was like 60 to 100, where I think Rickey's would have been in that 20 to 40 range. He was just so damn fucking quick. I mean, he would steal third too. Same thing. He's here, and he's just low center of gravity, and then boom. Where I always liked feeling the momentum into third base, where you walk into it, and then go. And I was just basically stealing off the pitcher every time. He'd steal off the pitcher, he'd steal off the catcher, he'd steal off everybody. Now, it was a little bit easier back then because they didn't hold runners as well. Pitchers thought that they needed the leg kick to generate the velocity on their pitches. Didn't realize that, you might give up a mile or 2 miles per hour on a slide step, but who gives a shit? Because basically you're doing this, you're also throwing the hitter's timing off. So we've gotten a lot better at holding runners, and I think that's probably the reason you won't ever see this record broken. But so I was saying, I go into Ace Camp, and again, like, worked with them when I played, and had a couple of these amazing like base running sessions and chats and everything else. And then when I came back, he was working as a special assistant for the A's, and I was working for MLB Network. And we're hanging around the dugout one day. It was me, Billy Bean, Rickey, David Forrest. Why do I feel like Farhan was still there? Upstairs, maybe he was. And Dan Feinstein certainly was there. But it was all these guys, and I remember sitting around going, holy shit, man. Like, this is pretty fucking cool. Like, Billy Bean and Rickey Henderson. And we're just bullshitting. And one of the things, like, kind of when I first came up, hey, what's up? Just say hello. I go, Rickey, Eric Byrnes, man. Man, Byrnes, you shut the fuck up, man. He goes, Rick, you know who you are? Come on, man. Don't ever introduce yourself again. And I'm like, oh, dude. That was, just the fact he called me Burnsy, I thought was really super cool. So, yeah, double Sky Point, man. I think, he's certainly left a legacy that will never be forgotten. I think it's a bit ironic. Here the A's leave Oakland and Rickey passes away. It's a lot. It's a lot for A's fans. It's been a tough year. There was so much emotion at the end of the season, and I think rightfully so. I think there's a lot of people that were angry. I think there's a lot of people that were just heartbroken. But, they say don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. And I'll look at the A's time in Oakland that way, and I'll look at Rickey that way. It was such a fucking joy to be able to watch him play, to be able to watch him stats it ball out of the air in left field, and just obviously what he did on the base pass and ripping all the bags. And yes, he was my inspiration for diving head first, of course. You know, him and Pete Rose. I mean, that was everything. The fact that, you know, he said if I didn't have a dirty uniform, I hadn't done shit. And I couldn't agree more with that. I felt the exact same way when I played. I just a true role model, an inspiration, the flair, the dramatics. Like, yeah, I definitely wasn't as flamboyant as Rickey was, but at the same time, there was a little something in there that, you know, I think he helped bring out, not just in me as a ball player, but in everybody else. And then the leadoff homers. I mean, come on. It was so cool to watch him and just, I mean, damn. So, sad day. Biggie Biscuit, how can I help you? What's that? Can I tie your tie? Christmas tie. There, give me your tie. Do you know how to tie a tie? Come here and say what's up to Daily Hustle crowd. He does not know how to tie a tie. This could be a first thing. It's been a minute, but go like this. Wrap it here. Hold on. Oh my goodness. I used to whip through it. Like, no problem. This is the most basic way, I think, of doing it. No, this is not going to happen. This is when you know you haven't worked at MLB Network for a while. Okay. So this, we have it about halfway to a little bit more than halfway. And then I'll take the top over to the bottom. And then we're going to do a loop and flip it back over here. And now we take this, and then you take it, watch this, through all of them. And you pull it back up through here. Oh, dude, I think I had it. And then now you've created this little hole. Then you take this and put it through. Ladies and gentlemen, Merry Christmas. I mean, it's not perfect.
But now I need it.
No, I'll take it off like this. This is how Grandpa used to do it for me. No, I gotta take it off.
And you put it on me and I just tighten it.
No, you put it around your neck and tighten it. There you go, kid. Life lessons,
How to tighten it.
101. You grab this to tighten it. Hold on. And you pull up. There. All right. De nada. Sick. I mean, the things that will happen here at Daily Hustle. Anyway, I don't want to overdo it or get too emotional about it, but like I said, it's a tough year for A's fans, and you know, I mean, we're gonna miss the A's in Oakland, and obviously we're gonna miss Rickey. As far as football scores and everything else, Niners. By the way, I just downloaded the Apple Sports app. This is the most basic app I've ever seen. It's just right here. It's just all scores. I mean, it's kind of cool. The Niners go down 29-17 to the Dolphins. Their season's fucking over. Bills squeaked by the Pats yesterday, 24-21. Bengals mathematically stay alive with a 24-6 victory over the Browns. 36-30 Panthers over the Cards. How about the Commanders yesterday? I was in the airport in Orlando, and the Eagles fans, I mean, are you shitting me? I'm like, who could possibly be playing in Orlando where this many people are getting excited while they're Eagles fans? And it was absolutely mayhem as the Commanders came back at the end of that game to win 36-33. Jaden Daniels, just fucking terrific. Falcons 34-7 over the Giants. Michael Penix Jr. got the start in that one. Lions get back on track after losing the Bills. They're 34-17 winners over the Bears. Rams 19-9 over the Jets. Colts 38-30 over the Titans. The Vikings 27-24 over the Seahawks. So, I mean, the whole NFC West picture is really interesting here. I mean, the Rams are now in the driver's seat, I imagine. Raiders 19-14 over the Jags. The two teams there are fighting for the first pick. So I don't think anyone wanted to win that game. Cowboys 26-24. Just thinking about that, like, think about this. Players, when they go in, you think they give a fuck about the draft picks for the next year? They don't. Unless maybe they're like Trevor Lawrence and you know you have security, you're going to be there for a long time. And, you know, he's not playing in that game. But for the most part, these guys are going to do everything they can to try to win. It doesn't matter. Now, the coaches, even the coaches, though, I mean, this is going on their win-loss record. Ownership or management might be a little bit of a different story. Today, we have the Saints, I believe, at the Packers. Packers 10-4, Saints 5-9. I mean, what a basic app. Again, like I got prompted for this Apple Sports app, and that was it. As far as the West Coast weather is concerned, raining outside right now, or at least it was when I got up this morning. It poured all night last night. Should have a break today in the action, and then snow is coming. Huge atmospheric river. Should snow all day tomorrow in Tahoe. So we're in the Bay Area right now, but we're going to try to beat the weather back up. Mullen family Christmas. So, you know, a lot of love to my mom's side of the family. Should be a fun day at Aunt Sally's house. Yeah, that's about it. Last thing about Rickey, and I want you guys to understand this. He did end his career playing indie ball. And when you think back about Rickey Henderson and all the accomplishments and everything else, the one thing that I think is so fucking pure about Rickey is that he was born to play baseball. And that was everything to him in his life. And so when you think about the type of role model that you're setting for the next generation, that all-in mentality, that this is what I'm here to do, and this is what I love to do. And it's just really cool. And I just wanted to thank Rickey and for the influence that he had in my career and just so many others. But just a really, really special human being with some iconic stories to go with it. Merry Christmas, everybody. Potentially could do a daily hustle tomorrow. We'll see, and then we'll take Christmas off, and then back the 26th through the new year. But it's yeah, it's certainly a beautiful time of year to kind of step back and reflect on everything. By the way, Christmas Day would have been Rickey Henderson's 66th birthday. Gonna try to get Will on here to come on and say a few words too. I actually thought about calling him this morning and see if you want to come on the Daily Hustle, but I know Will's just got some really cool stories about Rickey and reflection. I mean, so many of them have been told on No Filter. So it'd be fun to kind of go back and rehash that and just continue to celebrate a guy that celebrated the game and honored the game. So, all right, everyone, have a fantastic day. Much love, and that's it. See ya!